It's Christmas time! Hello, welcome to the Wild Review. I'm the Wild Reviewer, and welcome to day 10 of 25 Wild Christmas Review Days, the cartoon specials. Today we're talking about Johnny Bravo, a character that I know has quite a history on Cartoon Network. I don't know if it was a very popular show, but I do know that I have not seen the show. But I've seen the Christmas special a number of times, and I'm not quite sure why. I don't remember where I saw the Christmas special first also. I don't know if I saw it on Boomerang. I don't know if they just randomly played it on Cartoon Network. There's a lot about Johnny Bravo I don't know about. I know what the show is about, though. I also know he teamed up with Scooby-Doo once. I think he was one of the earliest Cartoon Network shows when they were still under Hanna-Barbera, so I think that's also a thing. Yeah. So I'm not going to talk about Johnny Bravo that much in terms of the show, because there's not a lot I do know about him. But we'll just stick with the Christmas special. It's Johnny Bravo Christmas special time. Johnny Bravo was a cartoon that aired on Cartoon Network from 1997 to 2004. It follows the life of a man named Johnny Bravo, a dim-witted narcissist who has an Elvis Presley-like persona and attempts to pick up women everywhere he goes. That's the best way I could summarize Johnny Bravo, based on everything I've read and based on this episode and what I know of the character. If I am missing anything, I'm sorry. In 2001, a Johnny Bravo Christmas premiered. This saw Johnny, accompanied by a little girl named Susie, who lives in the neighborhood, going on a trip to the North Pole after he discovers his mom's letters to Santa were in the couch on Christmas Eve, never delivered like they were supposed to be months ago. So again, I'm not going to go too much into Johnny Bravo as the show because I don't know super much about it. I haven't seen a lot of it also. If they start playing it on Checkered Past, I'd be very interested in checking it out. I want to argue that Johnny Bravo started off in What a Cartoon, though. I feel like I saw him on the poster of What a Cartoon. That is another show that I haven't seen personally, but I know of it because I know Cartoon Network history a little, and I know What a Cartoon was essentially like what Oh Yeah Cartoons and Random Cartoons were for Nickelodeon. But a quick little opinion on Johnny Bravo based on all that I know, and that is not just coming from this Christmas special, but just little clips I've seen and even the moments I've seen him on Cartoon Network in promos, specifically for the anniversary stuff. He seems like a very interesting character, and I'm very interested to check out his show. Now, as for the Christmas episode, I guess this is a good impression to what to expect from the show, but maybe not in its entirety. I feel like that there's a lot more of Johnny antics that go on as he tries to pick up women, and maybe other things. I want to say maybe things that go his way, but I don't want to say that in the sense that I know what the show's about, because I don't know if I've established it yet, but I haven't seen the show. The Christmas special, though, isn't that bad of a Christmas special, though. I've actually watched it a number of times since I first saw it a few years back, and there was just something I always liked about it. Maybe it was the same feeling I had when I saw the Danny Phantom and Invader Zim Christmas special, being that I wasn't very knowledgeable about what the show was prior to seeing those episodes. But it definitely left a very festive impression on me when I saw this episode. I guess in a sense, this feels like a one-off Christmas special, which in a sense I think it is, but it's connected to the Johnny Bravo show. I don't think this episode is connected with any specific season like the Ed, Edd n Eddy Jingle Jingle Jangle Christmas special. At least to when I looked it up, I don't think this episode's connected to a Johnny Bravo season. But above all, it does feel like the Christmas special of this character, and that honestly is enough for me to like it. I feel like at this point with storytelling, especially when it comes to holiday storytelling, there's only so much you can do for a Christmas special, and going to the North Pole to deliver letters, I mean, that's not necessarily a new thing. I think at this time when it aired, it was still relatively a new thing, but I've seen stories like that before. The Muppets did it once. but what makes it new and fresh is how you do it. And there are a good number of moments in this Christmas special that did make me laugh, made me chuckle. And I think it all just comes down to Johnny Bravo's character. I don't know why I didn't do this with the other ones, but I actually have a few moments that I specifically thought were really funny or just kind of goofy. And the things that made me like the special. One of them is that Johnny Bravo's dog is just in the couch. I don't know if he owns a dog. Like, I'm assuming he does, because why else would there be a dog there? But there was just something funny when he pulled the dog out of the couch. Little girl Susie, she finds out that Johnny has letters that weren't delivered to Santa. And she's like, well, we could always just email him. And he just completely ignores that. And I find it really funny that while that is the most logical and probably the easiest way out of this situation, he's not even paying attention to it. He's like, let's go to the North Pole! Something about that made me laugh. The way the plane takes off when they sneak onto the plane and they're in the cargo section of the plane, how it's just like slowly going and then it just like takes a big step back and then just flies off. That specific moment, that was really funny. That's like pure cartoon goofiness. Donny Osmond just comes out of nowhere in this episode, like he's just flying with an umbrella, and then he's just part of the special. And I've seen this for years, and I've always just thought, oh, okay, it's the celebrity portion of the holiday special. Sometimes holiday specials have that. Only for me to then research and discover that Donny Osmond has been in other episodes of Johnny Bravo, which I guess explains the little banter that they have with each other. Because it has been established Johnny Bravo knows Donny in this episode, so that never clicked with me while watching it the first couple of times that, oh, well, maybe there's history with them in this show. I just find that really interesting that Donny Osmond is a character in this show. Also, Adam West, I know for a fact, is in this show because I've seen clips of Adam West and Johnny Bravo together. I thought that was really funny. That is also some of my little knowledge of Johnny Bravo. Finally, there's the bit where they're all in the plane heading to the North Pole, and the pilot guy who had just learned how to fly, he just got his license that day on Christmas Eve, like even like Merry Christmas to you, I guess. He's joining everybody in the back, and Johnny just looks at him, he's like, who's flying the plane? And the plane just goes straight down. That's funny. And there's also the moments where it's like, oh, we're gonna crash into that mountain. No, it's a cloaking device. And they fly into the mountain only to see Santa's workshop. And they're like, oh my god, we're gonna crash into Santa's workshop. It's like, yeah, we are. I remember some of my early viewings of this episode. I kind of found the character Susie to be a little annoying, but as the years went on, and especially up to this point where I had to rewatch the episode, I don't find her as annoying as much anymore. I think she's an interesting character. I'm very interested to learn her dynamic and her relation with Johnny, like how it started, because Johnny is a full-grown man and she's a little girl, so I'm quite curious to know how that happened. Yeah, if she's like a friend of the family and she just hangs around the family a lot. Like, I need to do a little more research and watching to see that dynamic. And of course, by that statement, maybe I'm thinking too much into it, but I'm just interested to see where she comes into the picture with all of this. You know, is it like a We Bare Bears situation where the bears and Chloe meet and it's just fine? Is it the same thing with Johnny and Susie? I have to say, the only thing that doesn't sit well with me, and I'm still like on the fence about, are the talking animals. I feel like animals shouldn't talk in this world. Now, I know the dog talked also when I talked about the dog being brought out of the couch. I know the dog said stuff also. But in the plane scene, when you have the circus animals interacting with Johnny and Susie, they are physically speaking to them, like having full-on conversations. And I'm very confused at that. Like, why? Why is that a normal thing? Is it why? I feel that with shows that have animals talking alongside with humans and they like share similar ways of life, sometimes I could see it happening, and then other times I'm like, this doesn't fit. And I think it's because we're focusing a lot more on the human characters and Johnny and Susie, and like the animals are just there. It would also be one thing if the animals just talked and the humans couldn't hear them, but like in this case they are physically speaking to one another. Is this something that happens in Johnny Bravo a lot? If you watch Johnny Bravo, do the animals just casually talk to people? Is that a normal thing in this show? Because that's a little strange. Aside from that, if you couldn't tell, I like this episode. I like this little Christmas special. It's not one of my diehard favorite Christmas specials from a show, but it's definitely an enjoyable one. It's left an impression on me, and it makes me want to check out more of Johnny Bravo, just because, again, I know how big the character is, and I know how much history it has on Cartoon Network. So, you know, hopefully that door opens up for me one day where I could check it out. I'll just throw this out there. If you've seen Johnny Bravo and you're a fan of the show, or you casually watch it, let me know what you think about it in the comments. I'd be very interested to see what everybody else thinks about the show. If there's any specific episodes I should check out if I ever get to watch the show, I'd be very interested to checking it out. And with that, that brings us to the end of this Wild Review Christmas episode. We've finished 10 days, everybody. Oh, I hear a clock. We're going into day 11 as of tomorrow. We're going to be moving on out of Johnny Bravo territory, and we're going to be heading somewhere else. We're going to check out another Cartoon Network Christmas special, a classic for a lot of people, and it is also a classic for me. And unlike Johnny Bravo, I've seen this show, so I know a little bit more of it, but you got to come back tomorrow to find out what it is. Thanks for watching The Wild Review on The Wild Reviewer, and you just saw me review a thing.